David and Cecilia had been married for 10 years. David is an honest, hard-working, honorable man who loved Cecilia. He was somewhat of a homebody and a construction foreman who worked hard to ensure that his son and wife lacked nothing. Cecilia, on the other hand, was very fond of nightlife and enjoyed going out with her friends to have fun until late at night, even after the birth of their son. While David, as a dedicated and loving father, took care of their son at night. All this was not a problem, as David trusted his wife and believed that this was just a way for a housewife to unwind. However, one day, everything collapsed when David discovered Cecilia's infidelity through an anonymous call that sent several photos of Cecilia at the club, kissing and dancing with other men. Seeing this, the strong man that David was, a construction foreman, became bitter. When Cecilia came home late at night, David coldly confronted her, showing her the photos, leaving Cecilia amazed by the discovery. David decided to divorce Cecilia and was already packed to leave when the couple had a very ugly argument. Cecilia, crying, pleaded, "Please, David, don't leave, forgive me. I don't know what came over me, give me another chance for our son." David, also crying, replied, "Cecilia, I loved you and you ruined everything. For our son, what a lame excuse is this? You deceived me with other men and made me a fool. I want nothing more to do with you, I am completely disappointed." Cecilia continued crying and begging, "Please, David, just one more chance. Don't do this to our son, to our marriage, to our family, don't leave us." David, outraged, replied, "For our son, I will never let him lack anything, because I know he's not to blame for any of this. But as for you, I want distance. You deceived me, betrayed me, lied to me. I want you out of my life. You destroyed our family, our marriage, for fun." David left the house without looking back, completely devastated inside, and decided to move to another city to recover from the suffering and damage he had suffered. However, from life, he visited whenever possible during school vacations. After a long time since the betrayal, David recovered and is now dating another woman named Isabella. She is hardworking, humble, friendly, honest, a widow, and a mother of 2 children, a boy and a girl. The couple seems to love each other very much. David seems to like the children very much, who also seem to like him. This helped David transfer the love he felt for his son to them after separating from Cecilia, and also to overcome the distance and longing he had for his beloved son. Still, David did not abandon his son and continued to pay child support and call the boy to ease the longing. Isabella allowed David to feel comfortable with her children, which reinforced the bond between father and children among them. Isabella admired how dedicated and loving David was, not only to his own son but also to her children. However, she felt sorry for him for the sadness of not having his own child with him. One day, while they were dating, Isabella said to David, "David, I feel very lucky to have you. You are an amazing man and I feel like I hit the jackpot. As for your son, I don't mind helping and supporting him, but he's your son and not to blame for anything. Continue giving him all the attention and love he deserves. I just regret that he's with that woman who betrayed and deceived you." David replied affectionately, "Cecilia is a thing of the past now. She chose this path, and I'm happy to have an amazing woman like you by my side. And as for your children, I already love them as if they were mine." The relationship between David and his partner flows very well, and apparently they are a very happy couple. David has fun with the children as if they were his own, which nurtures even more longing for his son. The children, in turn, are becoming increasingly attached to David and already consider him their father. He gives them gifts, takes them on outings, and has fun with them in the park. Currently, David works as a construction foreman at the city hall in a new city. Meanwhile, Cecilia is shocked to see on David's social media that her ex-husband is happy and radiant with a widow with 2 children. This discovery leaves Cecilia very frustrated because she now has to work on her own and can no longer attend nightclubs and dance halls as before. Moreover, her lovers don't care about her as much as before. Determined not to allow David to enjoy his happiness while she is going through difficult times, Cecilia resolved that she would do something about it. After all, if she can't be happy, why should life be? On a day when Davi, Isabella, and the children were enjoying a family moment on an outing, Cecilia called Davi. The man didn't hide from Isabella that she was his wife. "I want to settle the procedures of our separation and the sale of our house so we can split everything." Upon hearing Cecilia's voice on the other end of the line, Davi made a serious expression and replied over the phone to his ex-wife, "Cecilia, handle this through my lawyer? All right, I have nothing to discuss with you. You and I are definitely separated. You might as well handle this with my lawyer." Cecilia nervously retorted, "Please, for the sake of our son. He misses you a lot. Come for him, he really wants to see you." Davi then replied to Cecilia, "All right, if that's the case, for the sake of our son, let's handle this in person. Let's resolve this whole situation." Davi talked to Isabella about the situation with the house sale and promised to come back to stay with them forever. Isabella fully supported her beloved, knowing there was a child involved. On the day of the trip, Davi packed his bags and met Isabella and her children at the airport. They said goodbye with smiles, and Isabella said, "Come back soon, my love. I'll be waiting for you." Davi replied, "Yes, my love. Soon, within a month and a half, I'll return. I'll settle this matter and we'll be together forever." After embracing all 3, Davi boarded the plane with tears in his eyes. When he arrived in town, Davi found there was no time to book a hotel, so he went to his old house where he lived with Cecilia. His son was happy to see his father and hugged him, saying, "Daddy, it's so good to see you. I love you." Davi affectionately replied to his son, "It's great to see you too, my dear. I love you very much." He gave his son a toy car, which he enjoyed playing with. After a long time apart, Cecilia and Davi started talking again, and in private, Cecilia said, "Davi, I know I've wronged you. Let's save our marriage. Our son misses seeing us together. Please, let's relive the old times." Davi retorted, "No, Cecilia, absolutely not. I don't want to go back to that failed marriage. I want to settle this and split everything. Then leave here and live with the love of my life, Isabella, the woman who makes me happy and whom I want to spend the rest of my life with." Cecilia cynically retorted, "A woman who has 2 children who aren't yours, how strange, my love." Davy, nervously and indignantly, replied, "Don't call me love. I'm not your love, Cecilia. And leave those children, Isabella, out of this. They have nothing to do with this conversation. I've grown fond of them and I like them and the children as if they were my own. I love my son as much as I love those children. I already consider myself the father of 3 children and I treat them all equally." Cecilia appealed and forcibly grabbed Davy, kissing him while saying, "Davy, let's be a family again for our son. He needs it. Forgive me for everything I did to you. Think about it in your thoughts. Our son needs a united family." Davy, with conflicting feelings, part of him wanted to go back to his wife, but another part warned that it could go wrong. Still, Davy decided to give it a chance and see if Cecilia had really changed. During that month, they lived as a family, but Davy didn't break up with Isabella, nor did he write any letters or make any calls. He intended to do it personally in a month and a half if he wanted to reconcile with Cecilia. During that month, Cecilia was very kind to Davy, even allowing him to go out alone to buy food for his son, while Davy and his son watched a movie on the couch. Cecilia forgot her cell phone. Ironically, Davy picked up the device, to his complete disappointment. Davy saw several messages from Cecilia arranging a meeting in a square. Indignant, Davy went to the address. It was already night, and upon arriving at the location, Cecilia was there. "I saw Cecilia and another man kissing," shocked by the sight. He took several photos with his cell phone, with his head held high and for no apparent reason. To forgive Cecilia. David saw that his ex-wife was beyond redemption. Furious, they caught her red-handed and said, "Cecilia, it's worthless, really. You fooled me for the second time, It's shameless and deceitful, just like I was imbecile, in giving you another chance." The lover flees in despair, while Cecilia, crying, pleads, "Please, David, forgive me. I have deceived myself again." Angry and tired of her excuses, David retorts, "Enough, Cecilia, you'll end up alone and with nothing. It was good I didn't break up with Isabella. Now I know you never changed, you just made a fool of me. Your game of manipulation, it ends here. People like you never change, they just temporarily become what we want." "It's over here," Cecilia cries and shouts, "Davy, please don't leave, don't do this." Davy leaves the square and goes home, where he packs his bags and says goodbye to his son, saying, "Goodbye, my son. I love you and want you very much. Whatever happens, Daddy loves you very much." After saying goodbye to his beloved son, he leaves the house. Cecilia appears before him, crying, and says, "Davy, please, don't do this for our son." Davy responds angrily, "Enough. Stop this ridiculous show and cheap theatrics. Your integrity as a woman is tainted. At least fight for your integrity as a mother. Because I have evidence against you on my phone. If I show this on social media and in court, you're finished. And the court might grant me custody of my child. From now on, only speak to me through my lawyer, because I don't want to see you even if you were painted gold. Goodbye, Cecilia. Take care of our son, or else I'll take him away from you." David leaves the house, and Cecilia cries a lot as their son hugs David. David returns to the city where he lived. Isabella greets him with joy, hugs, and kisses while Isabella's children call him Dad several times. The couple talks, and Davy reveals that he was considering breaking up with Isabella, but decided to clarify everything without hiding anything. At first, Isabella is upset, but she understands that it was just a moment of vulnerability that Davy's ex had taken advantage of. Isabella forgives Davy, and it only strengthens their love. Davy cries at the thought that he could have left a wonderful woman like Isabella for a scoundrel like Cecilia. Determined to expel Cecilia from his life forever, Davy blocks her on his social networks, WhatsApp, and everything else. He burns and destroys everything that reminds him of Cecilia, and now he can only communicate with her through his lawyer. With Isabella, after 3 months of preparation, Isabella's children are happy with the union of their heart father and their mother, and they live very happily during the school holidays. Davy's lawyer takes his son to visit his father, who, even though far away, never stops being present in his son's life. He just doesn't want any more contact with Cecilia, who ends up alone a few months later. Some time later, Isabella announces that she is pregnant, which makes Davy very happy. Isabella gives birth to a daughter, which further strengthens her relationship with Davy. Now he has a wife who loves him unconditionally, lovely stepchildren, and a daughter with the woman of his life. Through calls and letters, Cecilia has to accept Davy's demands, as he has sufficient reasons to act this way. She can't be angry with him because she didn't want to risk losing custody of her son. Davy lives happily and peacefully with his stepchildren, the love of his life Isabella, and his daughter. He was right to want to take Cecilia's son away, as she wasn't being a good mother. In fact, he ended up doing this when he found out that she wasn't taking good care of the child. He took the son to live with him, and the boy really wanted to live with his father. He told Davy that Cecilia didn't take care of him, went out at night, and left him alone. Over time, the boy got used to his stepmother Isabella, his half-sister, and Isabella's children, who became his family. Davy loved his son and didn't reveal the reason for his separation from Cecilia because he didn't want his son to have a bad image of his mother. However, one day it would be inevitable, and Davy would have to tell the truth to his son. Cecilia suffered the consequences of her boundless compulsive betrayal, ending up alone and with nothing. Living only in her house with all the comfort, since Davy, out of pity, left the house for her, not to leave the mother of his son on the street. Cecilia was ignored not only by her lovers but also by her ex-husband Davy. Now she can only call to speak with her son and make brief visits, without having any contact with Davy, who no longer wanted to know about her. Meanwhile, Davy rebuilt his life and formed a wonderful family composed of an incredible wife, 2 stepchildren whom he loved as if they were his own children, his beloved son, and his daughter, the fruit of true love with Isabella. He lived happily in peace, now being the happiest man in the world with his new and beloved family. The story presents us with a reflection on the importance of not sacrificing ourselves for people who do not value us. This implies not giving a second chance to those who do not respect us, by not tolerating disrespect and lack of love in our relationships. We are putting ourselves first and recognizing our own worth as human beings. It is important to keep in mind that we deserve to be treated with dignity and consideration, and that we should not accept less than that. If you liked this story, leave your opinion in the comments below, and of course, leave your like and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. A big hug and see you soon.